Hello and welcome to another video by the Hoylake Computer Club. Today we're going to be starting a bit more on our Python stuff. I decided to kind of go with a Pygame sort of application today, mainly to help start with the Kids Code Club stuff. So it's just kind of a dry run of building out a little simple drawing application in Pygame. So let's jump in and start sharing screen, and then we'll kind of move forward. So here we've got a new folder for the Kids Code Club called Drawing, with nothing in at the moment. So here we're going to just go into Visual Studio Code and start building out something. So there's no files in there at the moment. So we're going to have a file, and we'll make a new file called drawing.py. So this is going to be an application to just use the mouse to draw basically whatever you want on the screen. It's very, very simplistic. It's going to be just kind of not a large amount of code, but we're going to kind of try and break down the steps. Now, one of the things is if we don't have Pygame installed, we're going to need to install Pygame. So at the moment, we're going to just open a new terminal and say pip install Pygame. And this will install Pygame into your system. I've already got it, so it's just saying, hey, yeah, it's already there. But for you, it may not be. So installing it, you just do this single command, this command here. This is all presuming that you have Python installed and pip installed and so on and so forth. So now the next step is inside our actual thing, we need to kind of initialize Pygame. And to do that, we need to import Pygame. So we'll try and do that, import Pygame. Okay. And then we also need to do pygame.init. Pygame.init, initialize. That's now gave us access to all of the Pygame library to be able to do things. Another thing I want to do is kind of define a bunch of constants, things like the screen width, the height, some colors. So let's do that. Say width. Let's do it, say 800 by 600. Height. Again, these are just arbitrary same values I think of, but you can change those to whichever size you prefer. Now, colors are actually what we call tuples in Python. Now, in Python, tuple is the same as a list, but it's immutable. It's read only. So let's make a couple of colors. Let's say white, and we'll put that as red of 255. Oops. 255, green of 255, and blue of 255, which give us white. Now, conversely, black would be red of 0, green of 0, and blue of 0. Then we can actually make red, which is going to be red of 255, and the other ones are going to be 0. Then we'll do green, and that's going to be 0 is red, and then green is going to be 255, and then blue is going to be 0. Got a comma there. Okay, let's have a look. We want blue next. Blue. Okay. So red of nothing, green of nothing, and blue of 255. Okay, so now we've got some colors, we got a width and a height. Next, I want to create the screen that we're going to be looking at, the actual screen itself. So to do that, we can make a new variable called screen. I'm going to set it to Pygame.display.setMode. And the mode needs to take in a size, and that's also a tuple. So I'll give it the width and the height of the screen. So that being said, we could also give this screen a title. So we can do that by just calling the Pygame.display.setCaption. And then the caption could be maybe draw or drawing or something. That's going to be the title of our application again. Okay. So now that we've done those steps, next we need to start creating variables to manage the state of how our drawing is. We want to kind of think of, is a user actually currently drawing? So we need of type, let's say Boolean, true or false. So we need a drawing. Yeah. We need, what else do we want? We want the position where he was previously and stuff like that. We want the line color. We want the width of the line as well. So we can kind of decide on how wide our drawing line is. So drawing will set to false to start with. Then we'll do a last position, or pause, equal to none. Because at this point, oops, that's supposed to be on one. That's basically going to be changed as we move along to go draw a line from here to here to here to here to, and so on. Now we want the line color. Let's do it in American because for some reason coding seems to like American. We'll do our color in green. Why not? You can change that to any of the colors you want. If you change it to black, I think the background's automatically black, so probably not a good idea. Now the line width. I'm just gonna make it like 2 pixels wide, just so we can kind of see it a little bit. You can make it as wide or as thin as you like. So now that we've got our kind of setup and our variables and everything there, we still, if we ran this right now, it doesn't really do much at all. In fact, we don't even say that we're starting to do anything or draw anything. So what we need like this main game loop or the main loop itself. So we need like a while doing something, like you could have like a while true or a while running. In fact, we're going to make another variable called running just for this. Running equals true. And then we'll say while we are running, while we're running, do something. What we need to do is get all of the actual events that happen. Okay. So we can actually loop over all of the events. So for event in Pygame dot get, no, actually dot event dot get. So for every single event that is there, we need to check first. Let's say, has the game been exited? So if my event dot type is equal to Pygame dot quit, then all I'll do is I'll set running equal to false. Okay, so that'll, the while running, well now running is false, that will finish this loop. So otherwise, if we have a mouse button pressed, we want to kind of check for a mouse button press, because when we're drawing, we want to be able to sort of draw by holding down a mouse button and moving the mouse around. So we'll say elif, so otherwise, if the event type is equal to Pygame dot mouse button down, yeah. So we've got a couple of options here. Now we need to find out which button it is. So ideally we want the left button to be the thing what we select things with and draw with and things like that. So the left button is button number 1. So we'll say if event dot button is equal to 1. Now at this point we want to set drawing to be true whenever we're pressing down on the mouse button. So we'll say drawing equals true. And what we want to do is we want to set the last position to wherever we first clicked. So we'll say last pause equals event dot pause. So that's going to set it to wherever the mouse pointer is to start with. Now we need to check if the mouse is moving. So we'll say elif event type is equal to Pygame dot mouse motion. So mouse motion is the movement of the mouse. That's true. We want to say, well, hang on. Only do this if I'm drawing as well. So if I'm moving the mouse and then if drawing is true, then do something. So we'll say if drawing. So if that's true, then I want to set my current pause equal to event.pos. Now I want to draw a line from my last pause to my current pause, basically. So what we can do is can do a Pygame dot draw dot and tell it what we want to draw. I want to draw a line. And the line needs to be drawn to the screen. So screen. I want to give it a line color. So line color. And what I want to do is I want to go from last pause to current pause. So let's have a look. I want to go from last pause to the end position, which is current pause. And then I want to give it a width of line width. Okay. So now we're able to draw a line from where we held down the mouse to where we're moving the mouse while it's held down. So it just keeps drawing. But that only kind of draws one line in one thing with one movement. But then what we want to do is we want to set the last pause to the current pause. So it'll keep going and drawing lots and lots of little lines, but seemingly fairly fluid. Okay. So I want to set my last pause equal to current pause. Okay. Now we want to then also deal with what happens if we let go of the mouse button. That's another thing we want to think about. So if we let go of the mouse button, we just want to set, well, if we let go of button 1 rather, we want to set drawing to false again, so that we're not actually drawing anymore. So we're only drawing while we're holding down that mouse button. Let's do another else if event.type is equal to Pygame dot mouse button up, and also if the event dot button is equal to the button 1, which is the left mouse button. So if we let go of the left mouse button now, we want to set drawing equal to false. Okay, so now we've kind of done the sort of the inputs, if you like, getting all the events and seeing what's going on there. The next thing for us to do is to actually kind of update the display, and we update the display using something called a flip method. So we can go down here, have a look in the while running, but not in the for loop. We want to say Pygame dot display dot flip. And that kind of just draws the next sort of the next frame. Now, after the main loop's finished, if we end up with a running equals false, we want to be able to just exit the program. So at the end of this, we'll just say Pygame dot quit. Okay, so that will end the thing. So let's quickly go over this now. So we imported Pygame. We've initialized Pygame. We've set a width and height of the screen. We've gave it some defined colors. We've built the screen of that width and height. We've then gave it a caption at the top saying draw. We've then created some variables, drawing false. So whenever we start with a state of not drawing. We have the last position to none because we're not actually drawing yet. Line color I've set to green for now. You can set it to what you like. Line width is 2 pixels at the moment, but you can set it to bigger or smaller if you like. Running true means, okay, we are running. And then we're in this main sort of game loop of running. So while we're running, check all of the events. Like if we close it, quit. If we press down the mouse button, then set the drawing to true and grab the position of the mouse. If we move the mouse while we're holding down the mouse, aka drawing is true, set the current position to wherever the mouse is, and then go from last position to current position with a width of line width and a color of line color on our screen. And then update the last position to be the current position and rinse and repeat. And then when we let go of the mouse button, we set drawing to false because we're not drawing unless we're holding down the mouse button. Then this will update the display and sort of like give us a seemingly animation type thing going on. And then once we finish this whole while loop, if we ever get a quit, which sets that running to false, we then fall out and end up at quitting Pygame mode. So let's save this and let's try and run it. So I'll open a terminal again and type in Python 3. Yours may be Python 3, yours may be Python, depending upon how you're installed. And drawing.py. We now have this blank screen. If I'm waving my mouse about, it does nothing. If I hold down my left mouse button and wave my mouse about, we have a line that follows the mouse about. And if I let go while I'm moving it, it's still moving, but not any drawing. So I can just sort of draw stuff on the screen. If I want to go even more crazy, I have a graphic tablet, so I could actually use that as the mouse and draw a little bit more fluid, seemingly. Because with the mouse, it's a little bit janky and slow, sort of. I can go on a really good sort of fluid motion. So whenever I'm touching the touchpad with the pen, it's actually as if I'm holding down the left mouse button. So I can kind of be really very granular with this and draw around like a crazy person. So it keeps it within the bounds though. If I go off on one, it's not there. So it's not drawing outside. It's just our application, what we've told it to draw. Okay, we don't have any functionality like clearing the screen or anything like that. But that's basically the concept of that. Okay. I mean, we could add some other features to this, but for now, this is perfectly fine. If we want to change the color of what we're drawing, we just go up here and see line color. I'm going to change that to red. Save it and rerun the application. Now I'm drawing in red. Let's use the pen to draw this time. That was all with the mouse. Oops. Not a good idea to wave the pen too much. Okay, let's go. It seems to be the bottom of the mouse that's drawing that, or at least the pen-wise stuff. That's quite interesting. This is a test. Yeah. So that was a simple drawing app in Python using the Pygame library. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again in another video. Bye-bye.